Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode, the Wednesday episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
Josh, this week, the younger DC generation is kind of taking center stage this week.
Yeah, younger, and most of them have been around, longer than I've been alive, but they're somehow still kids, somehow still teens.
Somehow,
the
comic book world where everything kind of ages very slowly or not at all.
Yeah.
The only thing that really gets updated are the times and the costumes and the surroundings, but the younger generation stays pretty much the younger generation.
Unless your name is Cyborg.
Yes.
In which case you get promoted and aged, kind of, to an extent.
And if you're Dick Grayson, you get promoted.
Yeah.
Wally West gets promoted. So we have a new generation, younger generation, while the second generation, if you want to call them, all kind of graduate to become heroes in their own mind, in their own right. The DC younger generation is the focus on this episode of Comic Book Cove. And on this Wednesday edition of Comic Book Cove, we are going to discuss the following comic books. Deathstroke number 3, Suicide Squad number 3, Batgirl number 3, Titans number 3, Detective Comics number 941, Batman Beyond Rebirth number 1, and Teen Titans Rebirth number 1. And as always, spoilers ahead. Deathstroke number 3, Deathstroke the Professional Part 3, by any other name. Josh, this issue of Deathstroke 3, we kind of see Slade working a little bit he's getting closer to figuring out who put the hit on Rose. You see him at the beginning kind of standing over Rose, kind of creepy, to be honest. Very creepy. And then Rose has to get to the bank at a certain time at 9 a.m., which turns out that she is going to protect someone that's got a hit, but the hit turns out to be on her. Deathstroke is there. And it just kind of, he's always a couple moves ahead of her.
Yeah, it seems like everyone in the Deathstroke universe is always a couple moves ahead of somebody.
Yes. With
the double crossing and the triple crossing. And it's an interesting relationship between Deathstroke and Rose, where he kind of wants her to follow in his footsteps. She's more along the lines of a superhero, vigilante. I think he calls her an anti-hitman at one point. Which, what is that? I don't even know what that is. But Slade doesn't really approve of that lifestyle.
No.
At all. I mean, he wants her to put bullets in people's heads.
Right.
And do it the hard way, like he does. And he basically implies that she's too soft.
Yes.
For that. I mean, she has relationships. She has casual relationships. She has friends. She has a boyfriend who Slade eerily stands over in the beginning. And especially in that beginning scene, when you see him standing there, it kind of makes you think, okay, is he here to kill her? Or is he here just to check up on his daughter?
That's what I felt at first, too.
Yeah.
You really can't tell either way, any emotion. The only emotion he has is dissatisfaction, like you said, of the way she lives her life. And he even said that I would respect you if I thought that you believed in what you stood for. That was very interesting. I like the flashbacks. We're still seeing more flashbacks of Slade's past, when he got his eye blown out and his son got his throat cut.
Yep.
One son was kidnapped. We see that flashback going on again. And I also liked it that they showed Rose, the interaction that they had between Rose and Deathstroke. And when Rose saw Wintergreen again, she was very excited to see him. I thought that was neat. Well, this issue is pretty much straightforward. The biggest reveal was the money that was paid for the hit came from a certain bank.
Yeah, and that bank is in Gotham City, and right now Slade thinks that might have been Bruce Wayne. Or, I mean, I think he just referred to him as a bat.
Yes.
So it looks like he's on his way to Gotham City to go confront Batman about that.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see if, I can't picture Batman taking out a hit on someone unless it's just, I would say rhetorical, but, just to get their attention.
Yes.
Or, maybe Slade's being manipulated into this. There's an undercurrent that Slade's being manipulated into doing a lot of these things. He was it was implied that he was manipulated into putting on the Icon suit. I mean, there's so many layers to this issue. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I mean, that's two really good martial artists
Yes.
going at it. So if fists fly, that's going to be pretty exciting.
From what I remember in the past, that these two, they don't really cross paths that much. They're kind of in the same, I want to say universe, but they're in the same circles, but they don't cross paths that much. And when they do, it's for a special occasion.
Yeah.
They both have grueling respect. We're talking Batman and Deathstroke. They both have very grueling respect, grudging with each other. I thought it was funny when Rose said to Slade, "Oh, I was trained by Nightwing." And he was just very dismissive, like, "Yeah, that's not going to cut it for me."
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
This issue of Deathstroke, kind of short this week on this discussion, but it's very straightforward. Slade is with Rose. They have their parental discussion, not very parental if you want to call it.
Yeah.
He finds out who. He doesn't find out. He just kind of assumes that it's Batman because he has to take a trip to Gotham. They steal the old identity, and they make it a point to travel in a beat-up car as not to arouse suspicion. So we'll see if Batman and Slade, maybe Nightwing, and Rose, we're going to see if they do cross paths. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, every time Batman and Deathstroke have met, I mean, be that in the comics or the video games, or I think he's even slated for the next Batman film, isn't
Yes,
he?
he is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big occasion, and usually I think, I mean, Deathstroke is one of the few people who's beaten Batman in hand-to-hand combat. But this issue really, with the present storyline and the flashbacks, really helps to tie together a lot of the storyline.
Deathstroke number 3, straightforward. We're going to take a trip to Gotham, it seems, and I'm enjoying it. Suicide Squad number 3, The Black Vault Part 3, Bad Brain. Suicide Squad number 3. Josh, the squad isn't really getting any help. They're stuck between a Zod and a hard place.
Yeah, it seems like the hole they're in is just getting deeper and deeper with every issue, because not only do they have Zod, who is still very not contained at this point.
No.
Just at least 2 issues in, and now they have another metahuman team to deal with, which is the Annihilation Brigade, who I'm not familiar with, but apparently they're like a Russian metahuman team that is basically assigned to this prison they're in, and they want to make sure that the Suicide Squad doesn't get out because they can't possibly know what they're doing for the security of whatever they're doing there is.
It was very intense. That you could just feel the tension that they're fighting for their lives. Zod is not letting up. He's in full Zod mode because he's talking in the third person. How dare you try to fight Zod, do Zod this, Zod that.
That's pretty much normal Zod.
Right, yes.
Really.
And then when Harley Quinn goes to leave, try to escape, then there's some regular soldiers that come, so she goes back. They're fighting. They're fighting to get out. Mm-hmm. It's not a good, the odds are increasingly stacked against them. So how do you think they're going to get out of this, if they even do?
I don't know. The one little hint that I got in this issue was they have the new edition Hack, and Hack, honestly, up to this point, hasn't done very much aside from teleport them in and basically get on Harley's bad side for having what she calls copyright infringement on her body.
Yes.
But she does refer to herself as the most powerful supervillain you'll ever meet. And she hasn't really done anything yet, but I'm thinking maybe she's going to get him out of there somehow. I mean, assuming they can apparently get Zod back into the little black orb that he was in. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Who knows?
But you know who is having success against him is Katana.
Yeah, proving fairly useful. I mean, we know Kryptonians are vulnerable to magic.
Yes.
Katana's sword is magic. She actually manages to cut him open in one scene, and really plays a pretty major role in this comic, which is funny because the Enchantress, who's also there, and up to this point, again, hasn't done very much aside from make the giant hole in the ice when the
Right.
ship first landed. She goes at Zod full frontal and gets swatted away. Or I think she gets
Yes.
Killer Croc swatted into her.
Yes,
I think.
yes, it did.
And it for me, it was almost like a reversal of the Suicide Squad film, where Enchantress is this incredibly powerful character who commands a lot of that film, and Katana really played a pretty minor role in that film.
Yes, she did.
But in that, Katana's pretty major role in this comic goes along with the backup feature, which is a solo story featuring Katana's
Yes.
origin.
I liked it. I really liked this one. It was one of the other Suicide Squad members are having, I am forced to be here. This is a way to kind of work off my 100 years in solitude. But Katana, her origin is one of tragedy. And what is the sword's name? The Soul Stealer? She said the sword is talking to her through the souls that it has absorbed. And Waller asked her, "Why are you here?" She replies, "Because the sword told me that you're going to need me."
Yeah.
It's pretty ominous.
Yeah. For me, that was a better fit for why she's on the team.
Yes.
When I first saw Katana on Suicide Squad, I sat there like, huh?
Right.
This is a character who started out on The Outsiders, which was Batman's team. In the New 52, she ended up on the Birds of Prey. And I sort of scratched my head and thought, why on earth would she be there? Are they making her a villain now? And it does make sense. This certainly follows the film, having her as Flag's backup,
Yes.
so to speak. But it gives her a much stronger role than she had in the film, too.
Very
which was
strong.
sort of showing up after the fact and getting a few lines here and there and not doing that much. So, it looks like she's slated to play a more major role if she knows about this crisis that's coming and nobody else does, or at least her sword knows about the crisis that's coming. Even she doesn't.
Right. It is kind of funny is not funny, but it's nice that every issue focuses on a certain character. After the big throw them all down on the table, each issue of the story focuses on a particular character in the main story and then the backup story, and you start to get a little bit a better understanding of the individual pieces. Now, if they come together as a team or not, it remains to be seen, because right now they're every chaos is breaking loose, and they're trying to survive.
And Harley's already tried to escape. So.
Yes, I think this is the second time, looking for a submarine.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I told Tom before this, I just now noticed the Rebirth T-shirt she's been wearing, and that's pretty cool. That's so cool. I didn't even
pointed
realize.
that out before.
I know, but I didn't notice it. It was always after the fact. This time I actually saw it, like, oh, hey, there it is.
Right.
As I think that was one of the times when she was running away.
Yes,
like,
running
hey,
towards the sub.
Yeah,
She's, come back, please, come back.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Wait, no, I'm here for you.
Yeah, like, no, teammates, I love you. I'm here to stay. This is a very intense version of Suicide Squad so far. This is a lot of trouble they've gotten themselves in, and so far, surprisingly, only one of them's gotten killed so far. So that's rest in peace, Captain Boomerang. But
your boots,
for
all your boots and maybe your hat somewhere, your spy hat.
Your stewardess hat. Yeah.
Yep, with the little boomerang when you go incognito.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like Suicide Squad started off with kind of, maybe it was a little bad taste from the movie. But as the issues go on, the backup stories are probably just as good, if not better, than the main story. And the main story is just kind of starting to pick up steam as you see the characters in action. Well, that's Suicide Squad number 3. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to have a triple header up here. Batgirl number 3, Titans number 3, and Detective Comics number 941. We'll be back right after this.